So next up, we have types of pulley, movable pulley. So let's see what is movable and movable pulley. So here too, we need a place wherein things are stationary. So we need to attach few things. So for that, we need to have this. Now, say imagine that you have a hook and stuff over here. And you have a rope. And your pulley is, yes, over here, and the rope goes down and then up through in this way. And you have your place where you can stand and stuff. And it can be a bit closer. And you're pulling from this end. As simple as that. I think that's good enough. So you're standing over here. Pulling this up. And the rope will go something like this, and yeah. So this is it. Okay. So all this is stationary. So where is your load? Over here. And you being over here. So if I pull the rope, what will happen to the load? Yes, it will move. Okay, yes. So it will move, and that is your entire point. That's why this is a movable pulley. Okay, so let's get a perspective of pulley from your lever point of view. So we have a circle, and you are actually, this should have been the case. You have a rod, you have placed a support over here, fixed the rod at one end. You're pulling something up over here. What you want to pull, you have kept it over here, right? You want to lift something, you kept it over there. And this is what you will see. So this is basically where your input is. That is, this is where is your input. This is where you get to see the output. So this arrow, why is it almost double? Like this is almost double of this. Let me make it actually double. Why is that? That we'll see. So basically this is where your load is, and this is where your effort is. Okay, so this you guys can have a look at a machine like this, wherein if you have something over here, kept some object over here, and you guys come and lift it up. So it would be something like this. Agree? So you lift it up. So what will happen to the load? That also moves. Right? And you can think of movable pulley in this manner. And one more thing is, here this end point has got displaced by quite some distance, and at the load end the displacement is less. The load end the displacement is less, while at the effort end the displacement is more. Do you guys agree? Okay, so this point will again be helpful when we are discussing movable pulley, when we have the length perspective. So this has got displaced less than this. Okay, and you can imagine a circle over here, and that would be it. So imagine a circle over here. And that would be your connection between, that will be the connection between your lever and pulley. So how is this? How is this all connected? We'll see it now. So we are viewing in terms of tension. Okay, so let me explain all of this in terms of tension. So you have something fixed over here, and this is over there, and you have your pulley. This is your okay. So this is your effort end, and this is your load end, right? So a quick question: if we pull with 10 Newton of force here, right? This is your first point. If I put 10 Newton of force here, what will happen to the other end? So basically you're pulling with 10 Newton of force. So here too it will be 10 Newton. But because you're pulling, what will happen? The roof will start pulling with 10 Newton. So this is pulling with 10 Newton. You are pulling with 10 Newton. So all in all, this entire system, right? The pulley itself, the pulley is getting pulled by how much? So here it's 10, here it's 10. Overall, it's getting pulled by, yes, 10 plus 10, 20 Newton. You're pulling by 10. Other end, it's also getting pulled by 10. Overall, you're pulling the entire setup by 20. So what happened? So for that, we can go back to not this point. This point, it can modify force. So adding more rope, segment or wheel reduces the effort required while increasing the output force. Can you see this? I put an effort of 10 Newton, but I'm getting an output of 20 Newton. If you can look at this diagram also, if you guys remember, using lever, the same thing can be done. So there is a famous dialogue, right? You give me a lever and a fulcrum, I can move the world. Things like that. So that is not technically true, but point is, you can move heavier things. So displacement over here is much more than this. So what is the end result? You'll be able to move heavier things traditionally, which you would have not been able to. That's the whole point of your system over here, right? And in terms of tension, you can see that because of the property that we got to see at the start with your rope, if the rope is massless, the tension is the same at both ends. Okay, I'm putting an effort of 10 Newton. Wall also, the roof also will put an effort of 10 Newton, right? It will pull back. If you're pulling something, as per Newton's third law, the wall will pull back. So this is because of Newton's third law. Overall, when you look at the pulley is getting pulled with a force of 20 Newton. And so this system, this very simple system, is able to double your effort, double the capacity that you can lift something. Okay, yes. So that's your tension. So as you can see, now things have started to move forward. I'm able to cover more points. So let me further show the difference. So in the last discussion, we saw that there's so many things happening and it didn't make sense, as in why are we even studying this? It'll make more sense over here. Why is that we are studying? So for this length of rope discussion, so I need a rope, big rope, and then pulley, which I can place it over here. And then things are moving up and done. Okay. So this I'll copy. Oh, sorry. Copy and paste. A simple question to you guys. If this length from here, say to here, not happy with the color. If I happen to move or forget about all that. If we have this entire length to be 5 centimeter. Okay. Now my question to you guys is, if I do this, I move the pulley and place it in this manner. Okay, so this is before. And this is your after. My question to you guys is, let me write the question here itself, I guess. Yeah, here. How much rope, again for this case, how much rope is missing over here? How much rope is missing over here? Yeah. Yes, it would be 5 centimeter from, think about it. See, this is 5 centimeter. So basically from the left end, we are missing 5 centimeter. Then anything else? And again 5 centimeter from right end. So let me explain this way. Let us put in this way. Let's go back to the question. How much rope is missing? Well, this part of the rope is missing and this part of the rope is missing. This part of the rope is missing and this part of the rope is missing, right? How much are those? 5 and 5, as simple as that. So basically, where is that rope then? Well, obviously, it is in continuation. So it will be that it has come over here and it is laying around over here, provided the person is standing over here and the same system. I'm not going to draw that. So point is, this is 10 centimeter. You guys agree? Now let me ask you guys this way. If I happen to pull 10 centimeter from this end, if I happen to pull 10 centimeter from this end, how much will the load move? How much will the load move? Simple question, which relates to this. Not ideal to paste it over here, but okay. Only if I had some more space. I can't make much. I can, but it'll be thoda congested. Okay, guys, I'll shift it. Yeah, still it's there. So my question is, if I pull a rope of 10 centimeter over here, if we pull 10 centimeter rope over here, how much will this move? Yeah. If you just understood this will move by 5 centimeter. Remember here, see, the rope got displaced by 10 centimeter over here. As a system, the pulley was over here, the center of the pulley, and the pulley is over here now, center. The pulley center moved up by a distance of, yes, 5 centimeter. So 5 centimeter is your answer. If this was 12, this would have been 6. If this was, say, 15, this would have been 7.5. This aspect is very important for us to understand. Again, I'm going to connect it to the other topics. So I hope this is kind of common sense now. Now let's move on to the other things. That is your length ratio. Again, this is made up stuff. So in terms of length, how much are things getting displaced at the effort end? That is the person pulling end, and the load end. That's what is moving. If I happen to move a distance of 10, the load is moving by 5. So we have a length ratio of 2:1. Since the length ratio is so, how much will be the velocity ratio? Same as length ratio, 2:1. How much is your acceleration ratio? Same as this, 2:1. How much is your force ratio? Right, force ratio. Same as this, 2:1. And finally, the official stuff, mechanical advantage, which is reciprocal of this, will be 1/2. Okay. So what exactly are we looking at? This is your effort end. And this is your load end. So why is that we are not officially defined force ratio? Because of this. Here it is your effort and this is your load. Effort load. And the actual thing that relates to all of this is effort load is mechanical advantage. Why? Because of this diagram. When I am putting an effort of 10 Newton, I am able to pull something up by 20 Newton force. So I'm doubling my, yes, I'm able to double my effort. So using a single pulley, but putting it across in a different manner, we're able to achieve an impossible task for us without that. Right? So that is the modifying force aspect about pulley. So it can cut your effort, that is force needed, by half, and that's how it can cut. And that, how much can it cut? That question is nothing but your mechanical advantage. Okay, guys. So we saw fixed pulley. Now we're looking at movable pulley, wherein the pulley itself can move, and you must pull twice the length of the rope to lift the load a certain distance. That's what we do. So velocity ratio here is 2, as the effort distance is twice the load. If a person pulls 10 centimeter, the load moves by 5 centimeter. But the rope's length is fixed. So how does this make sense? The key is that the rope loop around the pulley. So when you pull 10 centimeter, you're actually shortening both the sides by 5 and 5. And so the effect is that you have 10 centimeter at your end in terms of rope. The acceleration of the load is half the acceleration of the rope's free end, and the force ratio the effort force requires is half the load, providing a mechanical advantage of 2, ideally. Okay, so you have an advantage of 2, that is, if you are able to physically lift, say, 100 Newton, right, or say 10 kg, that's all you're able to lift. But with this pulley system, you'll be able to lift 20 kg. Okay, and that is spoken in terms of mechanical advantage. Again, guys, there are quite a few things which are not as per syllabus. It's just for knowledge sake, but linking all of them will make sense when you're doing numericals. So I thought, why not, right? It's just simple concept, commonsensical concept. Okay, so this is your heading, write the definition and write everything over here. Oh yeah, to answer the question, at the input end, you are putting 10 Newton of force, and the output end, we're getting an output of 20 Newton. And so the diagram makes sense. So this is input and that's output. This is FO and this is FI. So this is the funda. So you can see everything is so interconnected. This is the same thing as the previous one.